Greenland, the largest island on the planet, stands far removed in the frigid embrace of the Arctic. In the 1950s, it wasn't just a frozen wasteland, it was a potential lifeline in a nuclear world. Strategically situated between North America and Europe, Greenland became the linchpin of Cold War defense strategies. Its vast, empty spaces offered the perfect canvas for military ambitions. In 1951, as the specter of the Soviet threat loomed large, the United States established Thule Air Base, the northernmost military installation in the world. This was no ordinary base. It served as a key component of a network designed to keep a vigilant eye on Soviet activities. Thule wasn't just built to dominate the Arctic skies. It was a reaction to the growing concern over the reliability of early warning systems. The Cold War was heating up, and both superpowers were racing to gain the upper hand in the arms race. Nestled on the northwest coast of Greenland, Thule was ideally positioned to intercept incoming missile threats from the Soviet Union. It housed advanced radar systems and was crucial for detecting long-range bombers and intercontinental ballistic missiles. The base became a proud symbol of American military might, a bulwark against the encroaching Soviet forces. Militarily, this outpost was a complex web of technological prowess designed to maximize surveillance capabilities in inhospitable conditions. Life at Thule was not always easy. The remoteness of the location strained resources, and the cold was unyielding. Yet for many, service at the base had a profound significance. They weren't just defending a military stronghold, they were standing guard over freedom itself. The base pulsated with energy as personnel raced to ensure that the intricate systems remained operational. Every beep and boop of the radar was a reassurance that the watchful eye was on high alert. But forgotten amidst this display of might were the human stories, the families left behind, the friendships forged in the chill, and the daily struggles against isolation. As the Cold War progressed, Thule's significance grew, becoming a central node for intelligence and military operations. Operations were conducted with a laser focus on gathering data on Soviet movements. Every piece of information gleaned from the swirling Arctic winds was of utmost importance. As tensions between the East and the West escalated, so did the stakes. Thule was not just a military base, it was a strategic chess piece on the grand board of global politics. But with power came uncertainty and dissatisfaction. The very nature of military life, amidst the ice and snow, wreaked havoc on morale. Moreover, geopolitical shifts began to affect the base's purpose. Over the years, as technology improved and defense strategies evolved, reliance on such outposts began to wane. As the late Cold War approached, the focus shifted. What was once seen as impenetrable security began to feel like a relic of a bygone era. Yet, even as the clamor of the Cold War began to fade, the future of Thule remained uncertain. Would it continue as a bastion of military presence, or would it wither into obscurity? As decisions loomed and changes were on the horizon, whispers of abandonment crept into conversations, hinting that a chapter was about to close. How did a potent symbol of military strength fall into neglect, abandoned to the elements? What forces conspired to erase its existence? Stay with us as we unveil the gripping tale of Thule Air Base's descent from prominence to obscurity. Construction of Thule Air Base began in 1951 amidst the relentless Arctic chill of Greenland. Engineers faced daunting challenges. They battled sub-zero temperatures, fierce winds, and an unforgiving landscape. Special equipment had to be developed just to clear the land. Workers labored on ice, not dirt, as permafrost made traditional methods impossible. The base was built using prefabricated materials flown in by plane, logistics that tested the limits of human endurance. Military personnel arrived in waves. Some were seasoned officers, others were fresh recruits, thrown into a vortex of isolation and tension. Thule was alive with the sounds of construction during the day, but darkness settled in quickly, pulling the base into silence by night. The sun would rise for only a few hours in winter, turning weeks into long, claustrophobic stretches of despair. Living conditions became a constant source of struggle. Barracks were cold, the food was monotonous, and entertainment was scarce. Yet camaraderie blossomed among those who called Thule home, bonded over shared hardship. They organized games, movie nights, and even metal sculpture projects to help cope with the isolation. But the ghostly specter of the Cold War loomed over them, a reminder of the larger stakes at play. Thule Air Base wasn't just about survival, it was a critical part of America's strategy against potential Soviet aggression. Advanced radar systems were installed, transforming it into a hub for reconnaissance missions. Intelligence officers closely monitored Soviet actions in the Arctic and beyond. If tensions flared, Thule would be on the front line. The pressure was palpable. Flying missions from Thule was both an honor and a burden. Long-range aircraft, equipped to chart Soviet air and missile activities, launched on perilous sorties. Pilots flew through blizzards and darkness, relying on their training and the emergency equipment stored on the base. Reports confirmed that these missions yielded vital intelligence, feeding back into America's defense network and ensuring that policymakers in Washington, D.C. stayed informed about Soviet operations. Yet, with each passing year, the realities of military life at Thule began to clash with the technological advancements emerging in defense strategies. As satellite technology evolved, the reliance on ground-based installations like Thule started to dwindle. The base that once stood as a bastion of power began to feel like a relic. Personnel grew anxious. Conversations turned to what the future might hold. Could Thule Air Base, once bustling with life and purpose, really be abandoned? The question hung heavy in the icy air. Even as troop levels fluctuated and the base adapted to changing needs, the sense of impending obsolescence grew. By the mid-1960s, discussions about reducing troop numbers began to emerge. The forlorn sounds of wind whipping through the decaying structures echoed the thoughts of those stationed there. Was this truly the end for Thule, or was there something more that would seal its fate? As we delve deeper into this forgotten chapter of the Cold War, consider this. What decisions pushed the military to abandon this crucial outpost under the unforgiving ice? And could the true reason for its eventual decline be rooted in something far more human, greed, betrayal, or the very politics it sought to defend against? By the mid-1970s, a monumental shift unfolded in military strategy. The Cold War, once a theater of nuclear brinkmanship, saw new technologies rising to prominence. Satellite reconnaissance became the heavyweight champion of intelligence gathering. With the flick of a switch, military leaders could scan vast swathes of the Earth, illuminating Russian troop movements with clarity. Thule Air Base, once a linchpin of Arctic defense, began to feel the tremors of obsolescence. As satellites filled the void, discussions around the base's fate intensified. The relevance of maintaining a massive military outpost in Greenland diminished rapidly. In 1976, the U.S. government announced a significant reduction of troop presence, a move that sent ripples through the Arctic community. For the remaining personnel, uncertainty loomed over their daily routines. The camaraderie that once flourished amidst the solitude now took on an edge of anxiety, as some soldiers faced the reality that their time in Thule could come to an abrupt end. The 1980s brought a new wave of technological advancements that further accelerated this decline. Precision-guided munitions and electronic warfare capabilities shifted the battlefield dynamics. Manned bases in remote areas like Thule increasingly felt like laughingstocks. Why maintain physical presence when a single drone could handle surveillance and operations thousands of miles away? The rationale began to evaporate. In 1985, an official commission assessed the military utility of remote bases. Their findings were clear. Thule's role was relegated to a historical footnote. The combination of strategic realignment and economic constraints placed pressure on the Pentagon. After years of costly operations, the pragmatic decision emerged. Resources would be reforged elsewhere. By the end of the decade, the writing was on the wall. Troop levels dwindled. Key facilities fell silent. During a particularly harsh winter in 1992, the base braced for a drastic reduction in staff. The remaining personnel huddled together to share stories of the camaraderie built through shared hardships. But as they braced for the change, hope mixed with dread. Would they soon become ghosts in their own outpost? The official closure of Thule as a military base finally arrived in 1994. Once a beacon of military might, it now stood in eerie silence, encased in ice and memories. Abandoned structures towered like forlorn sentinels, witnesses to a bygone era punctuated by human ambition and greed. The final decision, shrouded in pragmatism, echoed the unpredictability of geopolitics. A mere 20 years earlier, the base was crucial to American operations. Now it was a memory locked in time. Even as the base became vacant, it whispered of the betrayal hidden in the folds of human greed. Local communities swept in, seeking remnants of a past life. What once was a fortified bastion became a canvas for explorers and scavengers. The vast, icy expanse held secrets, unanswered questions about what truly led to the rapid decline and subsequent abandonment. But the Thule story doesn't end there. Beyond the abandoned runways and crumbling barracks lies a deeper question. What if the very technologies that made Thule obsolete were now being turned inward? What do they reveal about the fragile balance of power in today's world? And could those haunting echoes of past decisions still influence geopolitical tensions today? As we survey the remnants of Thule Air Base today, the stark contrast between its past glory and current desolation is striking. Concrete structures, once bustling with military personnel, now lie silent against the icy tundra of Greenland. Researchers have flocked to this remote site, drawn not only by its historical significance, but also by the environmental legacy it has left behind. They document the base's decay and assess the lingering effects of abandoned military operations, including fuel spills and remnants of toxic waste. But Thule's story doesn't end with its closure. The base represents a cautionary tale, serving as a reminder of the fleeting nature of military ambition. What was once a critical strategic asset, essential for national defense during the Cold War, is now a graveyard of rusting machinery and half-collapsed buildings. Experts argue that the environmental footprint of military endeavors is often understated, and Thule's case highlights how abandonment can be as damaging as active operations. The degradation of the site raises concerns about how abandoned military installations across the globe continue to affect local ecosystems and communities. Geopolitical implications swirl around Thule Air Base. In the face of rapid technological advancement, its physical presence became irrelevant. Satellite imagery and electronic warfare proved to be far more efficient than boots on the ground. The base was once a key player in monitoring Soviet movements, a sentinel on the edge of the Arctic. But the Cold War's end left it as an obsolete relic in a landscape transformed by new technologies. Today, as nations around the Arctic Circle vie for access to untapped resources and new shipping lanes created by climate change, the question of Thule's legacy looms large. What role will former military bases play in modern geopolitical strategies? The local Greenlandic communities, once subjected to the overarching shadow of the military, have begun reclaiming their narratives. They're exploring the ruins, piecing together what remains of a world once dominated by military power. The stories they tell connect the past with the present, a reminder of human ambition and its often tragic entanglements with nature and politics. The abandoned airbase stands as a testament to a bygone era, echoing with whispers of what was and what could have been. But as we ponder the legacy of Thule Air Base, a chilling question emerges. With the resurgence of Arctic tensions and military interests, are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? What might the ghost of Thule teach us about our current pursuit of power in the icy expanse? As we venture deeper into the implications of this abandoned site, one must wonder, what is the true cost of our ambitions, and are we prepared to confront the consequences?